welcome back to another episode of the Natty Teacher. I'm, of course, your host, the Natty Teacher, and we got another rest day vlog, if you can't tell by the sweatshirt. This is like my rest day sweatshirt. It's a 4X Redcon 1 sweatshirt that I got years ago, I think for free, like, 'cause I had, like, bought one of their bundle deals or something, and so they sent, like, you just had to pick the size, and they sent you, like, a sweatshirt. I love it. It's like one of my favorite sweatshirts to wear around the house because it's really big and, like, you know, just super, super comfortable. So I will forever wear this thing. It's awesome. So I promise all these videos were not filmed on the same day. They were, separate. I just usually wash this and wear it on the weekends. It's like my weekend sweatshirt. So anyways, if you couldn't tell by the thumbnail, it kind of already gives away what the video is about. Today's video is all about my natural transformation and how I went from being, you know, a big guy, of course, and with a lot of clothes on. It's like, man, that guy's a big guy. But then you peel those layers off and it's like, yeah. You know, how I went from being, you know, a big guy in the gym to being competitive on a natural bodybuilding stage. And again, not that I'm, you know, the best natural bodybuilder out there, you know, not even in the state of Michigan, but, you know, being able to, you know, take what I had and being able to, you know, go into my first natural classic physique show and place, you know, in the top 3 in my class, you know, in a stacked class. I was happy with that. And I still have a long way to go, of course, but I did make a lot of progress for sure. So I want to break down a couple things and what really helped me to make a legitimate natural transformation. Okay, so let's kind of start with the basics of what happened. Okay, the picture that you guys saw in the thumbnail, which I will put again right here. That picture was taken in 2022, actually the day before I got married. So that was like what it would have been like May 20th, I think, May 20th of 2022. You know, my wife and I got married the next day. That was at our dress rehearsal, so the day before our wedding. And that was, you know, obviously a couple years into COVID, and, or I should say kind of COVID, but we were like at the tail end of COVID, like things were starting to kind of open back up and whatever. So, you know, it was kind of one of those things where, not that I let myself go by any means, but definitely had been that, you know, I had already competed once before in 2019, so it had been almost 3 years, you know, since I had competed, and I was just bulking the whole time, just chasing the scale, chasing the numbers, trying to, you know, get bigger and stronger and whatever. And I was just bulky, for sure. Bulky, you know. And I would say in that picture, I was sitting at right about pretty close to 250 pounds. So definitely not my lightest, definitely not my lightest weight ever. I was definitely towards the heaviest I had ever been. So anyways, the next picture you guys saw in the thumbnail, which I will put right here now. That picture was just from this June, actually, the morning I competed. So that would have been June 15th of 2024. So just over 2 years later. Now, I will tell you this. I did not start my journey back to the stage that like May of 2022. I really started my journey back to the stage last June, so back in 2023, maybe July. So a little over a year ago, that's when I really started to try to push down and, like, you know, trim the fat, for a lack of better, not even, you know, it's not even, you know, for a lack of better terms. I was literally trying to trim off body fat, but slowly but surely, okay? So, but I looked relatively, you know, close to that, maybe a little leaner than that, a little more muscular, but pretty close to where I was at there in 2022 as far as just size. Maybe, again, probably a little bit cleaner than that, but regardless, in that picture you guys saw me in, you know, when I competed, I was 187 pounds. So within that 2-year span, I went from being like 250 plus down to 187 pounds. And currently right now, just so you guys know, I'm in like the low 200s, hovering right around like that 205, 207 range. So, and I feel great. I feel great with where I'm at, you know, still, you know, just about 20 pounds or less, you know, up where I was at, you know, on my stage weight, and it's already been over 2 months. So I did it nice and slow, didn't try to just throw a bunch of weight back on and just bump the scale as fast as I possibly could. So I feel good. Performance is skyrocketing. Energy is great. Strength is great. Recovery is really solid right now. Like everything is going really good. So we're going to keep moving forward with that. So what did I do? What did I do to actually get that transformation? Okay, let's try to summarize these as efficiently as possible. The first thing I did, and this is something I had done for years, but I would say the last 2 years or so, especially the last year or so, I really dialed this in, and that is the consistency aspect, okay? Consistency. What are you doing? Well, here's the first thing that I did to make sure that I was consistent. First of all, you don't miss a meal. I don't care what you got to do. I don't care if you got to eat 2 meals, in the span of an hour. You don't miss a meal. Plan out your meals, prep your food ahead, and make sure that you are getting those meals in. Whether you're in a bulk or whether you're in a contest prep, doesn't matter. You got to make sure that you are not missing those meals. Okay, so consistency. You're not missing a day in the gym. You might be, you're getting up and doing fasted cardio. Like for me, before work, during my prep, I was getting up and doing 45 minutes of fasted cardio every single morning on the bike. So I'd have to get up at, 5:15 or 5 o'clock in the morning, which now it's easy. That's just like 5 a.m., 5:15, no problemo. Okay, but I was consistent with that. I really was. And, that was a piece where I really, I can't preach it enough. I cannot preach enough how just important your consistency is. Even if you're not like the best as far as your technique and form and all that kind of stuff goes, you should always strive to be, and you should always strive to be better, be better with that. But, in the gym, like even if you're imperfect with certain things, if you're going and you're consistent, you're going to make progress. There's no doubt about it. Same thing with your diet. You might slip up from time to time. Okay, you might have a cheat meal, might have some extra food there, a little extra calories there, or whatever. But as long as you're right back on track, you're going to make progress. Okay, you have to be consistent both in and, most importantly, outside of the gym. You're getting that 7 to 8 hours of sleep. You're drinking enough water. You are having enough time to actually physically unwind and rest and relax your body. You're not doing things outside of the gym that are going to constantly spike your cortisol levels and stress you out. You know what I mean? So again, and all this is off the cuff, by the way, so I don't have anything written down. I'm just trying to, be as relatable as possible with this. So again, to recap that number one point, you got to be consistent, man, both in and out of the gym. Okay. The second thing, track your calories. I don't care what anybody says. Tracking your calories, if they're going to argue this point, tracking your calories 1,000% changed the game for where I was at, because I could roughly calculate out my maintenance, like my maintenance calories, which maintenance, if you're unfamiliar, is like that midpoint. So that's where you're not going to gain weight and you're not going to lose weight. Okay, like for right now, I'm a couple hundred calories above maintenance. When I'm in a deficit, at least when I start the deficit, like when I go into my next contest prep, I'll be a little bit below it. Or maybe you start right at it for a couple weeks and then slightly dip below it and kind of climb that down until I get to the point where I'm starting to, where I can't dip any lower without dipping into muscle tissue. You know what I mean? But again, that's a whole different topic. Okay. So count your calories. You can use an online calorie calculator. What I did is I literally plugged in all my food onto like a Google Docs, and I went online and literally searched up every single one of the foods that I ate, and like how many, hundreds of grams I was eating of that food, and how much protein was in it, and how many carbs are in it, how many fats are in it, how many calories that is. And then I added that all together for all 6 of my meals. And now I actually have a legitimate, number of, calories and protein and fats and carbs that I eat every single day. And then I know. So then if I feel like I'm getting a little too big in the britches and filling out and maybe putting on a little bit too much fat, I can just lower that number, go back to the spreadsheet, go back to the Google Doc, chip away at some things, a little less here, a little less here, a little less there, and boom, all of a sudden I tightened up, I feel better, and we're good to go. Okay, on the flip side, if I feel like I'm not gaining fast enough, I only gained a quarter pound in a month, well, we got to make some bumps here. Add a little bit of rice there, add a little bit of, almond butter there, add a little bit of, pineapple there, I don't know, whatever it could be. Okay, little tweaks, small tweaks that all of a sudden add up to consistently larger amounts of progress. Tracking your calories is one of the most underrated things you can do, whether you're just an avid lifter who has no reason to compete, you just started in the gym, or you're somebody who's going to be, trying to compete in the Mr. Olympia someday. Whatever your goal is, tracking your calories is only going to benefit you. Okay, I firmly believe that. Okay, I firmly believe that. Even at a young age, like if you really have the drive and the dedication and the know-how to do that, dude, go for it. Okay. Here's another piece for you. And again, these are all kind of random, but we'll kind of hopefully string this together to make sense. So we've talked about the consistency aspect. We've talked about the tracking your calories aspect. And here is the third one, and this ties in with the consistency aspect. It really does. dude, you got to clean your diet up. 100% you do. 100% you do. Like for me now, I'm at the point I don't even eat pizza. I could, but it's just I know that a day or two after I eat that, my gut's gonna be screwed up. So I can make some homemade pizza with my wife and actually get, good whole fat, goat cheese for it or something like that, or some like legitimate actual cheese and, good lean meats to put on there, actual beef or actual like salami and pepperoni, none of the processed mumbo jumbo garbage that comes in these weird sealed packages that has, who knows what kind of fillers and preservatives in it that your body literally cannot digest, okay? There's always alternatives. You don't got to go down to Domino's every week and be like, I want to have a pizza every week. I was that guy. I was that guy who was having a pizza every single week, and then I'd notice, man, I had this pizza on Friday, and then not till Monday did I feel back on track. You're literally losing a day or two or maybe 3 days of progress for one freaking pizza, okay? And think about it. If you're losing 2 days of progress every single week, okay, 52 weeks in a year, times that by 2, I'm no math guy, but that is well over, or over 100 days of progress that you are losing in the span of a year. 100 days. 100 days, okay? 52 weeks, you're losing 2 days a week, 100 days. That's dumb. That doesn't make any sense. Okay, that doesn't make any sense that you're setting yourself back that many days purely because you want to have a pizza. Okay? Have a homemade pizza. Make burgers at home with some bison. My wife and I have done like bison burgers. They're phenomenal. They can taste actually like real, which is awesome. And they digest, you know what I mean? You can buy things at the store. May cost you a little more. That's the caveat to this. It may, or you can choose restaurants where you actually can get good, fun meals instead of just going and getting some sloppy, greasy pizza every weekend because you have to, fill that craving, or running down to McDonald's and getting 5 double cheeseburgers, a couple Big Macs, and some fries. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm trying to hold in a sneeze here. Woo. You got to clean up your diet, man. You got to. I did. I get it. I still have my off. For me, what I do now is I do off-plan snacks in the off season. And I will still track those calories, and I'll still keep it within like today, normally I'm in a 300 calorie surplus, but my body's really hungry. I had an incredible workout today, and I'm just kind of craving some, maybe some sweets or whatever. Okay, I will allot an extra 400 to 500 calories today. We'll bump this, calorie surplus up a little bit. You know what I mean? We'll add another couple hundred calories, or maybe even a little bit more, okay? But do those things. You can satisfy your cravings without having, any kind of repercussions for your gut and for your energy levels and what have you, okay? So again, be consistent. Make sure you're tracking your calories. Tied in with the consistency piece is cleaning up your diet. If you think your diet's clean, take another look at it and see if you can clean it up even more, okay? If you're really not making progress. That is, if you're making great progress, don't change it. Don't listen to anything I'm saying with that. Don't change it, okay? And here's another one for you, and we'll make this one of the last ones. Do your freaking cardio, okay? If your cardio is 10,000 steps a day, dude, awesome. If you're making progress with that, you're doing 10,000 steps, you're crushing it in the gym, your food's going in great, and you are trimming down, you're making great progress, awesome. For the majority of people, I will say this. 10,000 steps is great. It's awesome, but I would not be afraid to hop on the recumbent bike. Don't be afraid to hop on the treadmill. Don't be afraid to hop on the stair stepper. You know what I mean? The elliptical. Whatever it is that's easing you on your joints, you feel good, you have fun doing it, because cardio actually can be fun. It really can be. Man, I'm sorry. I am just holding in some sneezes here. My allergies are going wild down in my basement right now. Anyways, do your cardio. Man, do it. Don't be afraid to do it. Now, I'm not recommending that if it's like, okay, I want to trim down. Okay, I'm going to work out 2 hours a day and I'm going to do 2 hours of cardio a day. If you're going from doing zero cardio to trying to do 2 hours a day, you are going to feel like garbage. Bodybuilding is a marathon, not a sprint. Okay, you have to do things progressively. I would never recommend somebody, if they start, like if you're on a contest prep, for example, and you're eating, let's say, 3,500 calories in the off season, I would never recommend somebody jumps from 3,500 calories to 2,000 calories right away. You're going to feel like garbage, and you're going to lose muscle and strength very quickly. That's really stupid. Don't do that. Okay, you can back it down very, very slowly, especially if you're a natural athlete. You can back it down very, very slowly and make small incremental gains and progress from there. Again, it is a marathon, not a sprint. Those two pictures that are in the thumbnail, they are 2 years apart. Again, I didn't really start cutting down till, about a year before that second picture. But still, Those are 2 years apart. There was hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours of working out in between that, okay? And, lots of clean food and a lot of cardio and a lot of good water and a lot of good rest. There was a lot in between those two, okay? So, again, be consistent. Clean up your diet where you can, okay? Count your calories. Do your cardio. Drink your water. And again, here's the final piece to it. Have fun with it. Don't have the mindset of, I can't eat this. I can't eat that. I have to do my cardio to do that. You get to do those things, bro. You want to step on a bodybuilding stage, that is a choice you are making. Okay, trust me, there were plenty of times in my most recent prep, even you can ask my wife, there were plenty of times in my most recent prep where I was very much so like, have to do this, have to do that, have to do this, can't eat that, can't do that. No. That was one of the things I wish, and I will do this differently in future preps for sure. I get to do it. I get to be on prep. I get to be in a caloric deficit. I get to do my, hour of fasted cardio in the morning. You know what I mean? I get to go to the gym and work my tail off to try to be the best version of myself. I get to do those things. Have that mindset switch where you get to make the transformation. Because I'll tell you, I loved the transformation. Like, I look back at some of my prep, photos and all that. I'm like, man, I actually look pretty good. You don't really, when you're in the moment, you always think you can be better. And I know I can be. I can be way, way better, 1,000% better than I was when I stepped on stage, even just this summer. Okay, I can be way, way better. But I'll tell you, when you look back at some of those photos on prep and you actually see the legitimate transformation, it's pretty cool. It's a cool thing. So if you are starting your transformation and you're trying to make a natural transformation, take the advice I had. There's a million other things you can do, but I think that those are the basics, okay? Again, being consistent, tracking your calories, cleaning up your diet, making sure you're getting enough good rest, you're hydrating enough, you're doing your cardio, whether that's steps or you're doing direct cardio, in the gym or, outside or whatever it is, okay? It all goes back to the consistency piece. That's why I led with that one. It really does, okay? But if you have any more questions or you have any more feedback, please drop them down in the comments below. Hopefully this video was, again, hopefully it was helpful. I know these things are very much so common things, but bodybuilding, if you really look at bodybuilding on paper, it sounds complex when you're like, you got to track your macros and you got to do this. Honestly, when you get into the swing of it, bodybuilding as far as a sport goes is one of the most straightforward, I don't even say simple, but one of the most straightforward sports you can be a part of. Okay? And the nice thing is especially as a natural athlete, you can really make yourself very, very good and healthy and make your body an absolute machine when you really tune in and do these things correctly, okay? Anyways, again, you got any questions, add them into the comments below. I will absolutely answer them for sure. Thank you all for tuning in. Make sure you like and share the video. I got to get out of this basement. This is where my cat hangs out. And there she is. And I can tell I am, breathing in too much of her fur air from being on this, probably being on the table I'm sitting at. But, woo! Anyways, like and share the video. Drop a comment below. If you have not subscribed, please make sure you subscribe. That really does help me. It helps the channel, as we continue to grow. And, we're on that road to 500 subscribers, which is crazy. We still, again, only started this channel, 3 months ago. So it's really cool to see how fast it has grown. But, make sure you drop that subscribe if you can. If you don't want to, hey, don't worry about it. Join me tomorrow. We got a morning push A session. Not a ton of not a ton of changes. There is a little change in the exercise order, just something I want to try, just based on my other push session I did on Wednesday. So I kind of want to apply the same concept to this one on Sunday. You'll see more about that tomorrow. But make sure you tune in for that. But for today, enjoy the rest of your Saturday or whatever day it is in whatever part of the world you are in. Make sure you're drinking your water, hydrate up, do your cardio if you haven't, unless it's a rest day. Like, for me today is the only day of the week I don't do cardio. So, if it's a rest day, a legitimate, well-earned rest day, hey man, just chill, kick your feet up, watch some Scooby-Doo, and go from there. So, anyways, I'll catch you all tomorrow. But for today, I am the Natty Teacher, and this 7th episode, a full week of episodes now, of our Road to Natty Pro series is out. I will catch y'all on the flippity flop.